change up the procedure a little bit because it is time to start getting things ready for paint. Not because I'm going to paint them, but because I need to take these to the shop where they're going to be painted. I've made the major decisions about paint. The actual colors that we land on may be a little different than what I'm thinking right now, but we'll see how it goes. So we need to get all of the parts stripped down so that they are ready for the painter, so that one, I don't have a painter trying to figure this out, and two, so that they can do more efficient work. Yeah, that's it. So I think I'm going to start by taking off the windscreen. Oh, and Tom, if you're watching, it's going to be okay. We'll put it back together. I promise. These things are pretty common to just break. Yep, like that one did. All right. That one made it. That one made it. Got that one. Got that one. Didn't make it. Okay, well, we'll be buying a new gasket. Looks like somebody gooped this up when they put it on to try to keep the ends a little bit from being a little bit too flappy. Okay, I have suspicions that that one might be stripped. Oh yeah. It did not seem to want to unthread the way it should have. Yeah. All right, one windscreen removed. Watch the elbows. Okay, one bracket done. And the other one done. Okay. That's all of our windscreen hardware that we need to worry about. All right, now we have clearance that we can easily get the side view mirrors off. Okay. All right, a little bit of crud underneath it. Not too bad. I should show you what the other ones looked like when I took it off of the red motorcycle. The whole inside was just full of gunk. Probably mostly road salt. Maybe a little bit of wax buildup. That bike spent a couple decades commuting between Milwaukee and Minneapolis, and I'm told it was a lot of that was year round or close enough to it. So first owner of that bike was hardcore. So some of this is the difference between 263,000 miles on the red bike and, well, 13,000 miles on this one. So 250,000 miles makes a difference. All right, we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of the electrical bits. These are pretty interesting. I don't remember those being like this on the other bike. Yeah, those are just a little bit different. Are they the same? No, they are a bit different between the parking light and the turn indicators. It's a nice good gasket. Okay. Those are out. Let's see if we can't fit all of these in one bag. Oh yeah. course, at the end of the job, I will label all of these bags, even though some of this stuff is pretty obvious. The more you take off of this, the more floppy it gets. These front 4 screws are kind of like a short wood screw. And thankfully, they're all the same size. You know, thinking about what I said earlier with the mileage on the bike, one thing to remember is that this particular fairing did not come with the bike. It's a replacement, because the bike at one point was rebuilt, and while the bike had a 250,000 miles, or had wrong bike, had 13,000 miles on it, this fairing could have a little bit more time. When the bike was rebuilt, this was the fairing that was available with all the gray parts. And when I look at it, the paint, mainly the pinstripes on this are painted, and the pinstripes on the tank, they're not painted, they're stickers. So yeah, pretty sure they're stickers. They're just a lot crisper, and that makes me want to say that this fairing could be a good bit older than the rest of the bike. All right. Might need to take that out too. We'll see. I'll know more in a bit about that. Well, one thing is for certain, whatever the history of this fairing is, this hardware is in good shape. I don't think this fairing ever saw a whole lot of weather. Keep being ginger with this, like it's not going to just get repainted. Well, wouldn't want to have to repair any of it, so I guess that's okay to be careful. one of those screws. Just went for a run. Okay. Yeah, and this gasket's not doing so well. Yeah. And if I'm honest, I am probably not going to reuse either this screw or the, well, definitely not the locking nut. This does fit in here, just barely. I have these seals. They are, I think, almost all gone, meaning in terms of global inventory. Tried ordering one from my local dealer, or two rather, and they had one that they got pretty quickly. The other one, after 6 weeks or so, they canceled the order, and wound up having another one, found another one at Max BMW. They were able to send me to try to order another one to see if another one could come out of Germany, if they were able to find one that my dealer couldn't. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. My stray washer. So I think all I have left to do is to get the dash pad itself off, and that is going to be a little bit tricky because these are all rivets and there's no really good way to get rid of them. So some people drill these out. Some people just try to squeeze them in, maybe with something. So this was the Brooke Reams method. To form the rivet, and so you could get it through. Not sure I like this method. Yeah, I don't like that method. Let's try something a little different. So we got another one. Why? Well, this one is a little bit special. Because it does not have air inlets. Instead, it has lights. These were used, I think, primarily as police bikes. I haven't found anywhere that you could order these on just any bike. Maybe you could, but I couldn't find any material about that at all. So I think this is the Authority Lights package. But I'm going to use them like this as auxiliary lights. So we need to dig them out. This is a late 70s fairing. Other than that, I got a power socket here. This actually looks like it might still be in decent enough shape. Maybe I'll salvage that, don't know. Dual cup holders. These are cool. They might get kept too. I'm noticing there's some additional bits on this that, you know, like these screws. I'm not sure if they just drilled something out here or if there's something more to this. But we need to figure out how to get the lights out of this, because I'm going to put them into the fairing that's going to get painted. So those need to get out and get painted. Well, I've been on a bit of a side quest. I was aiming to just extract these body parts because they are going to need to be part of what I drop off for being repainted. And these whole things are going to get resprayed. But in taking apart the fairing, which had these lights in it, I kind of got fascinated with with the lights themselves. These are really kind of special. You know, they're not easy to find. I spent a couple of years looking for a set that were available, and I suspect these are all in perfect working order. There's some stuff I got to test on them before I know for sure. But as I was tearing into it, I was noticing that it's an old part. Some parts have not held up too well, like this connecting rod here. All this is just an adjustable connecting rod with one left-handed, one right-handed threaded ball end on it. This thing is pretty beat up. Supposed to be able to twist this to extend or contract these, but yeah, this thing's toast. And I suspect that, yeah, that's the same. The other part that needs to be dealt with is this little gas spring that's on these guys. But anyway, now that I was able to get inside these and have some of these in front of me, I was able to do a lot of research today. These lights, there's two different lights here. One with a B and one with an HR And interestingly, oh, yeah, one has a tightening screw on the top and one has a tightening screw on the bottom. But the housing will only allow the tightening screw on the bottom. So I'm going to have to assume that this one shouldn't matter, but it actually should matter because this guy is the one that has a, I don't know if you could see in there, but there's a shield in this. Now, I imagine that this housing could be removed so that I could check that out a little bit better, but I'm not brave enough yet to do that just yet. So anyway, the one with a B is a fog light. And with the housing there like that, that makes sense. So with the housing bolted on the bottom, the shield is at the top. I looked and looked. I couldn't really tell if any of the other ones like this that I found online were also had that shield in it. It'd be tough to tell by the photos that people take. But anyway, these were used in more than just this motorcycle application. These are the fog lights for the, I think it's the E31, whatever the designation is for the 3 Series from the late 70s and early 80s. As much as I've worked on different cars and stuff, I had never before last night seen an H3 bulb. This kind of threw me also, but these are obviously readily available, so that's not a problem if there's an issue there. I'm looking at what I could find for possible LED replacements, because I want to run all LEDs in the bike if I can. So that connecting rod with these 2 rod ends, this one's fine. Nothing wrong with it. There's good motion. I could probably just put a little bit of lube on these and be fine. I may try to do. I may try to remake. Well, I'm going to have to remake one for the other side. So while I'm doing one, I may do the other as well. So I've picked up some components to do that, and when they get here, maybe we'll have a little bit of fabrication to do. The bigger problem is this guy. So Liftomat, made in West Germany. So that gives you an idea of its age. It's supposed to be a spring, but it does nothing. It's completely dead. The other one is too. I haven't taken it off, but I could tell it's just not providing anything but actually a little bit of resistance, and it should be pushing open. I know it should be pushing open because it mounts from here. Oops. Mounts from here to on this little leg. And so if we look at that leg, the way it's shaped says that this must be a spring. It must always be extended unless it's compressed on purpose. So when you pull the light in, actually this one, the light's there. So when you pull the light in, that spring will be in a compressed state between these 2 points. So that will be a fun project, because the company that makes these has gone through some evolution in the past 40 years, and they're now Stabilis. I reached out to them to see what they could do to recommend a replacement using these numbers. I could find nowhere online anything that would let me decode this exact part number or what this 0302 is in the end. I'm pretty sure that this 0200N means that it was pushing with 200 newtons of force, or about 50 foot-pounds. It's a good amount, but I imagine that would help deploy these. Maybe you have a little bit of a fight when you're going down the road, you get some wind pressure to deal with. So that might make sense. So anyway, I've looked around, I found a few near equivalent options. If I assume 200 newtons and taking the measurements of this little gas spring, I could find some things that'll get close and seem to work in the same general range, but nothing that is an exact fit. I'll have to buy a few of these little clips to replace them, or I'd like to, two for the connecting rod, and one, I believe, yeah, just one for the pivot of the shock, because the other one's just tension held. Anyway, really cool. I can't wait to get things going enough that I can start putting this stuff back together and seeing how it fits right. You know, again, I think I've said this before, but it is utterly fascinating to me that every RT fairing appears to be ready to take this equipment, but there's not a lot of these out there. I've got 3 RT fairings here. I've got the one that came on blue. I've got the one that was on red when I started that project, and I've got the one that I bought that had these in it. And all 3 are identical molds. So I'm thinking that if anything, there was only minor revisions to those molds over the years. So, you know, that's 25, 30 years of making basically the same fairing for these bikes, and tens of thousands of bikes out there that could have this that don't. And that's fascinating to me. Means that all of these were designed as part of the concept of the first RT, and that never changed. Makes me wonder if somebody wanted to order a police bike in 1993 or 1994, would BMW have been able to supply this stuff?